Thank you for joining me once again. Against all odds, finally, Gen.Musa has been confirmed as the new sheriff in town. The good news also is Tinubu has given him a marching order. Invade the north. Begin to weed out every Islamic radical cleric, pushing extremism that has led to the terrorism insurgents that we have in Nigeria today. Musa will have to close a lot of elementary schools. Do you know that in the north, there are more elementary schools than normal primary and secondary schools? These are the battles that Gen.Musa will have to fight in his first 100 days. What we'll understand is for Nigeria to move forward, the north must be regulated. For Nigeria to move forward, the north will have to be split apart. For Nigeria to move forward, the northern hegemony must be decimated. They must be destabilized, then they can be restructured. If all of these three key things are not done, I tell you, we'll go nowhere. They will continue to hold every other person in the country ransom. Let me tell you, for many years, so many policies have been pushed, but somehow the Islamic clerics in the north will always find a way to manipulate the human minds there. Maybe they have little minds, I don't know, but in a situation whereby people are less educated, people are less exposed, what they grow up to know in most cases is the Holy Book, religion. So they use the examples, whatever that was written in that book, to manipulate, to hypnotize the people there. Okay, this is what, and this is how these clerics have been able in the past. Even currently, there are some clerics that are in cahoots with top northern politicians who, in so many cases, will whip up religious sentiment. They will whip up or motivate them to go into what we call defenders of Islam. This is what the Boko Haram's ISWAPs are. They tell you Nigeria needs to be what? Conquered for the religious cause. And for me to see Musa becoming the chief of defense staff, a man that has come out to say that I will not be afraid to say that I am a Christian. That's Gen.Musa. A man that has come out to immediately go to Abisoye's church to render his testimonies. This is a man that said that I am a proud Christian. I am sure he will want to sustain the secularity of this nation. There can never be the best time for Nigeria to emancipate, to liberate themselves from the northern Islamic oligarch and hegemony. Maybe you don't see this coming. If Tinubu fails the South, okay, the conquest of Usman Danfodo, which of course is to ensure every part of this country becomes Islamized. After all, this is what he did to all of the North. He did it in Kwara. He did it in some Middlebelt states today. Some part of Plateau has been totally Islamized and Fulanized. This we know under the caliphate. So if Tinubu fails, the whole of the southern Nigeria will fall. You know what I'm saying? If Tinubu fails to curb the tentacles of the Islamization agenda that is spreading across the nation, if it begins to be sentimental because of political gains, yes, southern Nigerians will fall. Where we have a situation where most people who do not want to convert will begin to run into the Atlantic Ocean, where some of them will run into Benin, some of them will run into Cameroon. But that's not going to happen. And I'm here to assure you, because Tinubu giving Musa that order, go and arrest anybody that you see, that you have heard, that you have very germane fact, is pushing religious extremism. Pick him up. We all know that the Shehu of Borno died some weeks ago. Did you see the picture on the crowd? Did you see it? Nothing less than 3 million souls were there. Shehu of Borno wasn't a scientist. He wasn't an inventor. He did not build an atomic bomb. No. He didn't build the next thing or anything that will be the next thing in the global stage. What he was an Islamic cleric in the north. This is how much they revere religion above science and technology. This is why you can see easily this Islamic clerics can manipulate, can weaponize religious sentiment. And it is important that Gen.Musa swing into actions. And Gen.Musa must understand that he, aside from being a Nigerian minister, represent the Messiah for the Middlebelt to break away from the shackles. That is what he must understand. One thing the North have used to capture the Middlebelt is the Arewa agenda. It is called the Arewa Consultative Forum. If you go through the constitution of the ACF, clearly written there that ACF was established to protect, to prioritize the interests of the Muslims, Fulanese, and Hausas. And as far as I'm concerned, the Middlebelt are part of this forum, but in most cases, they are not Muslims. They are rather but Muslims. They are Christians and traditional worshippers. Musa has every opportunity to correct all the wrongs. He must begin to attend the ACF. Begin to say this and this and this. We must not be having a situation wherein religious sentiment is always thrown into progressive conversation. Just imagine, in Plateau State, they said they want to have a state police, which everybody understands is meant for the indigenes. However, we can hear some voices saying that why are they denying Muslims? It's a lie. If you're an indigene, a born bona fide son of the land of Plateau, you are a Muslim or a Christian, wouldn't matter. You would have been recruited. What they are simply trying to do is whip the sentiment of the Muslims, indigenes, so that they can begin to speak on behalf of those Fulanese that are claiming naturalization or to have become part of them. You see the problem? This is why Tinubu must ensure that he gives Musa that backing. Yes, because Musa will not be able to do this alone. The battle ahead of Musa is life-threatening. We know that one of the orders, one of the conditionality submitted by America to Nigeria, if we will help you, you have to do two critical things. Yank off sharia or reduce silent sharia to maybe 2%. But do you think that is possible? When we know that over 25 years, 12 northern states have fully practiced in governance sharia laws. The Isba police has been the oldest state police in Nigeria. State institutionalized, has never been disbanded. Because if you want to talk about OPC wasn't a state police. OPC at one point was disbanded. They were sent into the bushes. But ISBA has been in existence, and I dare say that ISBA police is a state police, organized, established, inaugurated commission under the regime of Obasanjo since 2000. So they cannot, if you go and check Isba police, you will not find Christians there. Are you telling me there are no Fulani Christians? Are you telling me there are no Tapa Christians? Are you telling me there are no Hausa Christians? But you go and check the Isba police. It is written that they were established to what? To enforce the Sharia governance system in those 12 northern states. So Isba police is one of the things that has to go. But I know these things will be hard. I know these things will almost be impossible. So this is why I dare say that perhaps we might begin to follow the advice of Muhammad Gaddafi that he gave in 2010. That let us, look at the map, divide the country across religious lines. So when I know that I am in this particular country, I would not dare say that I want to come and establish a haram business. You can't be a madman and say you want to go to Saudi and open a brothel. You can't be that mad. Because you know right there that if you try it, you're going to be gone. That's, you know. So in a country where Sharia is being optimized by some certain people to intimidate the remaining part of the country, is not a country. So can General Musa confront this monster? I dare say he can, but he needs the presidential backing. On this case, I know Tinubu has given him the order, whether openly or behind the doors. Because there is no moving forward when the clerics are not questioned. There is no moving forward when the religious radicalism, yes, as there is in Islam, there is in Christianity. Could you believe that Ibrahim Traore, a Muslim man who has been the president of Burkina Faso for the past 3 years, has arrested 2 radical clerics, sent them to jail, closed down the Alimanjiri schools? He said there is no way, there won't be any chance for any leader, no matter the followership you have, there won't be any leader that will come out and start preaching what is against the values of this nation. We're trying to build a nation where everybody grow in harmony. We will love our nation, our fatherland, and this is how nations are built. In Nigeria today, I keep saying it, that the Nigerian army can be balkanized on religious lines. I keep saying it. 2 months ago, we saw what happened where a soldier, especially when the conversation, October 1st, was it October 1st or November 1st, when the conversation of Christian genocide happened, we saw where an Islamic Nigerian army, a Muslim Nigerian officer, I think he shot the guy, I don't know, but he challenged, he attacked a Christian officer. He was arrested, by the way. So what does that tell you? That there are elements of religious bias in that Nigerian army, and I dare say that the Nigerian army can be balkanized. This is the reason why the Sultan must be curbed his powers. The very important religious positions he holds must be reduced, regulated. Yes, the Sultan can speak, and a lot can happen across the country. I know what I'm saying. We know that the man that backs, the man that gives the spiritual and the political backing to Sharia in this country today is the Sultan. If there's any one man that wants Sharia to spread across the country, it's the Sultan. If there's any man that has written letter to all the southern governors warning them that the Nigerian constitution permits Muslims, in the event where they are the majority, to establish Sharia court and panel, it is the Sultan. So you see why I say that General Musa's life on this job might not be safe. Maybe we did not see what is happening. The goal of the Boko Harams and the ISWAPs and the Jenim, whatever nomenclature, is to, of course, establish a theocratic nation that is premised on Sharia. We have a king who wants Sharia to spread. We have a king that has not come out to open a crusade or speak against Islamic jihad or radicalism, but instead doubles down to tell us that jihad simply means to strive, to struggle for excellence. These are the points. Can Musa fight this battle? Tinubu failure to back Musa simply means he has handed over the south into the hands of the northern oligarchs. And when Sharia becomes fully established, the fate that befall the Kanawas, the Hausawas, will befall everybody. Didn't you see yesterday where the Sultan was awarding an Igbo man who won, I think it just some award has to do with Arabic scholarship or Arabic knowledge. So what does that tell you? Of course, there's Islam in the southeast. Doesn't matter, maybe in Enugu, maybe in Ebonyi, there is Islam creeping in. In the southwest, we know what is happening. How brothers of the same mother and father will battle themselves out because of this religious bias. Islam does not permit you to put the values of your nation ahead of the Quran. It doesn't. So therefore, we cannot have a country, a Nigerian state that we say is secular, and then we close our mouths, our ears, our eyes, when some people want Sharia to overrun us. Because when that happens, everything about that religion we must come first, before even Nigeria as a state. And we must not be quiet. Are we waging war against the North? Absolutely not. What we simply want is let us live according to our true desires and wishes. 12 states want to be Sharia governed. Let them be as a regional bloc. Let them have their own country or a subnational in Nigeria. Middlebelt wants to be secular. Let them have their own subnational sovereignty. This is how nations are built. Not in a situation whereby we all feel threatened due to the Islamic expansion agenda that we see currently going on under the guise of one Nigeria unity. Let us watch what Gen.Musa has to say.
You're back to a very familiar terrain, and Nigerians are expecting a lot apart from Mr. President. Yeah, so what will be your immediate priorities from now?
My immediate priority is to make sure that defense takes its place fully in the country. The synergy between the armed forces, and other security agencies, and all Nigerians being carried along, as we have always said, that security is everybody's responsibility. It is that synergy that we need to build on and work on it, and that's what we're going to. And I can assure you, within the shortest possible time, Nigerians will see results. I want to use this medium to appreciate all Nigerians. Nigerians have shown me love, and I will guarantee them that I am going to work whatever it takes to ensure that Nigeria is secured, working together.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
New charge from the president you just met with?
Yes, I just met Mr. President, and he reiterated his mind on the aspect that we must make sure that Nigeria is secured. Nigerians should go back and sleep with their eyes closed, go back to their farms, schools open without being molested, everyone being carried together to make sure that Nigeria continues to grow in line with the renewed program of the Mr. President.